Good evening, my dear friends. Myself, Professor Vinod Kumar from VPSV Ayurveda College, Kottakkal in Kerala. We had some discussions regarding the first chapter of Ashtanga Hridayam in the last session. We will be moving on to the further sections, further advancing to the further points to be covered in this class. I will take around 40 minutes for this class. So in the last class, we have already made some discussions regarding the salutation. So the textbook starts, salutation to the Apurva Vaidya, and a story regarding the origin and transmission of Ayurveda, and something related to the brevity of the textbook, how the textbook is important or something like that. And we have already made some introduction to the Tridosha by their name, Vadam, Pittam and Kapham, and the relative sites in the body. As below the umbilical region there is Vadam, in between umbilicus and cardiac region there is Pittam, and above umbilicus there is Kapham. So that we have already mentioned. In this class we will move on to some further details regarding Tridosha. So Tridoshas are contained in our body, and our body is in constant interaction with the surroundings. Naturally, changes in the surroundings will influence Tridoshas. So here is a model, a very simple model, in which the fashion of interaction between Tridosha and the surroundings is explained. You can call it as a fluctuation. Fluctuation means either increase or decrease. So there will be some sort of fluctuations for Vadam or Tridosha by 4 variables explained here. That means 4 things which are present in the surroundings which interact with the body will affect the functioning of Vadam, Pittam and Kapham. So that is what we are going to explain. So in the second term, this is Te Anda Madhya Adigaha Kramada. Te means they means Tridosha. Anda Madhya Adigaha, Tridosham in that sequence, Vadam, Pittam and Kapham. Andam Madhyam Adi. Andam means at the end. Madhyam means in the middle. Adi means in the beginning. So Vadam at the Andam. Vadam at the end. Pittam at the Madhyam or Pittam in the middle. And Kapham in the beginning. Of what? Of what? 4 variables. Vayo, Aho, Ratri and Bhuktam. Vayasa means lifespan. You can call it as age or lifespan. Ahasa means daytime. Ratri means nighttime. And Bhuktam means food intake. Food intake. So there are 4 variables. So human body interacts with the 4 variables, that is Vayasa, Ahasa, Ratri and Bhuktam. In all these variables, Vada will be at the end, Pitta will be in the middle and Kapha will be in the beginning. I will explain it with the help of another table. So Vayas is there, Vada will be at the end, old age, Pitta will be in middle age, Kapha will be in childhood. So that means there will be a marked presence of or a minimal increase of doshas in those particular stages. That means Vada will be minimally increased. There is a marked presence of Vada in old age, marked presence of Pitta in middle age, and marked presence of Kapha in the childhood. So that is the one thing. Next one is Ahas. Ahas means daytime. At the end means evening time, Vada will be little bit increased. Pittam at the noon and Kapham in the morning. Nighttime also. Nighttime means midnight it will be Pittam. Late night at the end it will be Vadam. And early night it will be Kapham. Food intake means you can call it as a digestive process. After food intake, the Kapha will be increased in the initial phase of digestion. Pitta in the mid phase of aggressive digestion, and Vada at the end phase of digestion. So these are the 4 variables which affects doshas in different ways. So this is called a fluctuation. This will be within a normal limit. This increase or this marked presence will not create any clear pictures or clear symptoms in your body, but there will be an apparent increase or increase within normal limits, can have a marked presence of such doshas in such and such situations. This is the statement. This is the statement which is mentioned in the textbook. We can deduce something from this description. Age-wise, while we considering this aspect only, or age-wise distribution only, old age is predominantly the presence of vata will be there. Old age is otherwise a degenerative age. So there is a hint on the characteristic of vata, means vata easily produce degeneration. Is that hint there? And kapha will be present in childhood. That means kapha, childhood is the most age where the growth is in its utmost speed. Okay, so kapha has some relationship with the growth. That is why childhood is calling the period of kapha. So kapha promotes growth, vata promotes degeneration, and pitta in the middle age, it will be balanced. The growth and the degeneration will be balanced. So in that sense, pitta maintains normal functioning in the middle age. So these are some indicators on. We will discuss these points later, but here itself you can see some indicators of this description to some characteristics of doshas. The characteristics of doshas will be enlisted later separately, but during this discussion, even during this discussion, you can characterize doshas in some or other characteristics. In the same way, considering the ahas part, daytime, noon is influenced, or marked pitta will be somewhat increased, or there will be a marked presence of pitta, a nominal increase of pitta in noon time. Noon is the hottest of a day. That means in a hot situation, pitta will be increased, means pitta itself is hot. Okay, that's the theory. A characteristic will be increased when the similar comes to it. A hot thing approaching pitta, pitta will be increased, means pitta itself is hot. So in that sense, pitta is hot. It is in Sanskrit, it is called ushnam. And the evening and the morning hours are comparatively Sitam. Sitam means cold. So this thing indicates another characteristic. That means Vadam and Kapham are comparatively Sitam when compared to Pittam, and Pittam is comparatively Ushtam. So this is a characteristics of, we can deduce such characteristics from this description. We'll move on to the next idea. Now we were discussing about the interaction with the surroundings. Now we'll be moving on to the effect of doshas on some physiological mechanisms. First thing is Agni. Agni means it's a biofire, or it is a digestive capacity. You can call it as a digestive capacity, or a metabolic process, or metabolic capacity, metabolic power, or something like that. Normally, Agni, the presence of Agni in the body is marked by Ushna Swabhava. Ushna. Agni is Ushna. Outside also Agni is Ushna. You can call it as a basal metabolic rate. Metabolism is always represented by hotness, temperature. So temperature is the basic characteristic of Agni. And that Agni will be, or it is hot. You can call it as hot. That Ushna. Agni will be influenced by Vadam, Pittam and Kapham in 3 different ways. Here you can see Tair Bhaved Vishamaha Tikshno Mandascha Agni. Agni becomes Vishamam, Tikshnam and Mandam by them. By them means by Vadam and Pittam and Kapham respectively. So Vadam is contributing to Vishama Agni. Vishama Agni means irregular Agni, irregular appetite, irregular digestion. Tikshna means Tikshnagni. Tikshnagni means intense appetite or increased appetite. Mandam means dull, slow down. So appetite will be less. So with Vadam, Vishamagni will be there. With Pittam, Tikshnagni will be there. With Kabham, Mandagni will be there. So in this way, these three doshas affect the digestive process. Samay Samaha means if they are in an equilibrium, if they are affecting the Agni altogether or in equilibrium state, the Agni will be Samam. Samam means normal functioning of Agni. So in this way, Tridosha, Vadam, Pittam and Kabha affect the digestive process. Here you can see the same thing in a tableted form. Vata, Vishamagni, it is irregular appetite. Pitta, Tikshnagni, intense appetite. Kapha, Mandagni, dull appetite. And Samadosham. Samadosham means equilibrium of Vadam, Pittam and Kapham. Agni will be Samam. So that is optimum appetite. So the irregularity is there for Vadam. Vadam is usually fluctuating. Function of Vadam will be fluctuating. Irregularity is caused by Vadam. As we have already mentioned, Pitta is hot. Agni also is hot. So that characteristic is already reinforced here. Pitta is Ushnam. Vada is irregular, Chalam. Chalam means fluctuating, mobile or something like that. Kapha is usually causing dull appetite. So it is opposite to Ushnam. That is Siddham. And even heavy also. Kapha is heavy because appetite will be less when heaviness is there. So that term is called Guru. So Vata is Chalam, Pitta is Ushnam, and Kabham will be Siddham and Guru. These are the things which you can deduce from this description. You need not worry about all these things. If you can understand, you can apply it. But we are going to explain all these things in a separate description. But whenever you get a chance to correlate things in this manner, we will go for that. That is the thing. If it is becoming some creating some confusion, we will discuss it later. Another separate topic is there regarding the characteristics of doshas. Okay. Apart from Agni, Agni is a digestive capacity. And another concept is there called Koshtam. Koshtam is the state of GI tract, a state of functioning, or GI function you can call. Apart from digestion, there are so many other things happening in GI tract, that mobility is there, peristalsis is there, absorption is there, water retention is there, water absorption, so many things are happening. All those things together, apart from the enzymatic activity you can call as Agni. But here it is the state of GI tract, can be called as Koshtam. And this Koshta will be affected by Tridosha in 3 different ways, as in the case of Agni. Koshta is the GI tract, becomes Krura while affected by Vada. Krura means you can call it as constipative. Koshtam will be constipative while affected by Vadam. And Koshtam will be Mrudu. Mrudu means it's prone to laxation. Prone to laxation. Mobility is more, freely flowing Koshtam. Krura Koshtam means hardness is there, constipation is there. Mrudu means it's freely flowing. And Madhyam means optimum. So Kruram with Vadam, Mrudu with Pittam, Madhyam with the Kapham. We will explain it with the help of a table. Vadam contributes to Krura Koshtam, which is constipative. You can explain in another way, poorly secretive and over absorptive. The secretions are less and absorption is more. Water absorption is more, so it becomes hard. Less vulnerable for laxation. If you give a laxative or purgative, this sort of Koshtam will be responding to a lesser extent, for that medicine. You can test whether using a medicine you can test which type of koshta is there. If it is Krura Koshtam, an optimum dose of purgative medicine will create lesser impact. On the contrary, Pitta creates Mridu Koshtam. Mridu Koshtam means prone to laxation, over secretive and poorly absorptive. If you give a minimum dose of purgation for laxation, the urge will be more fecal matter will be loosely evacuated. That is called Mridu Koshtam. Madhya Koshtam means normal functioning of Koshtam. Normal functioning means the semi-solidly, it is not that much loose, formed semi-solid fecal matter will be evacuated. So that is called the Madhya Koshtam. And in Samadosha means equilibrium state of this Tridosha, again the Madhya Koshta will be repeated. So there are three types: Krura Koshtam, Mridu Koshtam and Madhya Koshtam. Madhya Koshtam itself can be from Kapha and from Samadosha. Samadosha means equilibrium state of Vadam, Pittam. So it will be normal, optimally secretive and absorptive. So that is the influence of doshas on Koshta. So by this we described the functioning of dosha in terms of Agni and Koshtam. Agni and Koshtam are two basic physiological components in human body. So while examining this Krura Koshtam means constipative. Constipation usually happens due to the dryness and coldness. Cold, Sitam is a property which blocks something. Blockage will be there. So Ruksham means dryness. Fecal matter becomes dry and fecal matter become hard and the mobility will be less. So Vata can be Ruksham and Sitam. Pitta contributes to flowing nature, that is a semi-liquid nature of the fecal matter. Easily it is evacuated. So flowing is a characteristic of Pitta from this description. It is called Dravam and Snigdham. Dravam is a fluidity. Snigdham is a oiliness, free-flowing nature. So from this description, we will deduce 2 or 3 characteristics of Vadam. Vadam will be dry and cold. Pittam will be Dravam and Snigdham. We have already deduced some characteristics. Altogether, we will be discussing the same thing in the coming slokas. There is another concept called Prakriti. Prakriti is the constitution of a person. You might have heard of this term. So many researches are going on regarding the concept of Prakriti. So a person will be naturally there will be a dominance of any one of these doshas by character. There are different features of Vada Prakriti, means a person naturally with the dominance of Vadam is called Vada Prakriti. Pitta Prakriti means naturally with the dominance of Pittam. So there will be the features of Vadam, Pittam and Kapham will be dominant in such persons. Usually there will be 3 types of personalities, the 3 types of constitution: Vada Prakriti, Pitta Prakriti and Kapha Prakriti. There can be combinations also: Vada Pittam, Vada Kapham and Pitta Kapham. The combinations also are there. Again, if the dominance is equal for Vadam, Pittam and Kapham, that is called a Sama Prakriti. Sama Prakriti means they show equal dominance of Vadam, Pittam and Kapham. Here, what explained is how this Prakriti is formed usually. Shuklartavasthair Janmadau. Janmadi means from the beginning of birth. You can call it as a genetic. From the fertilization itself. Shuklartava means, Shukla means sperm, Artava means female gamete. So Shuklartava means gametes. So Vadam, Pittam and Kabham, which are dominant in gametes. Either it can be Vadam or Pittam or Kabham, which are dominant in gametes, will be Janmado, will be from the beginning itself, it will be dominating in that person. Like Visheneva Vishakrimehe. Vishena, Visha means toxin. Vishakrimi means a toxic organism. So for that toxic organism, that toxin is normal. That is a simile. It's a comparison. This Prakriti is compared with a toxin in a toxic organism. For example, snake. Toxin is there, but that toxin is not creating any problem to snake. In such a way, naturally there is an increase in Vadam or Pittam or Kapam in such and such persons, and that does not create any major problems in them. That is why it is called the Prakriti. Prakriti means nature. Okay. So from the beginning itself, or from the gametes, from the fertilization itself, if there is a marked presence of Vadam or Pittam or Kapam in a person, he will be designated as that Prakriti. Vada Prakriti, Pitta Prakriti and Kapha Prakriti. Taischa Tisra Prakrityaha. Basically, there are three Prakritis. Comparatively, Hina Madhya Uttamaha. Hinam means inferior. Madhyam means middle, moderate. Uttama means superior. So, for Vadam it is Hinam. Vada Prakriti is Hinam. Pitta Prakriti is Madhyam. And Kapha Prakriti is Uttamam. Uttamam means comparatively superior. When it becomes Samadhatu, Samadhatu means equilibrium of Dhatu here means Dosham. So equilibrium of Dosham. Samastasu Shrestha means it is the best. The best variety will be equilibrium of Dosham, or showing the features of all the doshas will be Shreshtham. Shreshtham means best, the best. Dvidoshajam. Dvidoshajam means a combination of two. Vadapittam, Vadakabham or Pittakabham. That combination is called Dvidoshajam. That is comparatively not that much good. It is an inferior variety. So in total there are 7 types. That is Samaprakriti. Samaprakriti means Vadam, Pittam and Kapam exhibiting equal dominance in Prakriti called Samaprakriti. This is the best variety. Kabhajam, Paitigam, Vadigam means Kapha Prakriti, Pitta Prakriti and Vada Prakriti, superior, middle and inferior. And the Didoshaja Prakriti. Didoshaja means combination of 2 doshas. They are called the worst. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 3 becomes 7. There are 7 types of Prakriti. Basically there are 3 types, that is Vadam, Pittam and Kapham, but in combination it can be 7 types also. There are different features of Prakriti. That is another topic. I cannot include the description of Prakriti. How can you identify the Prakriti? What are the features of Prakriti? Here, we will discuss it later. But here, what we intend to say is, from the beginning itself, there is a chance of an increased presence of any one of the dosha, or 2 of them, or all of them in persons, and that contributes to the constitution of Prakriti. That Prakriti itself does not create any problem to them, because as such as in the snake, the toxin is not creating any problem. Okay. Now we are moving on to the properties of Tridosha. From the earlier descriptions, we have already met with some characters of Tridosha, which we deduced from the descriptions. All such characters are enlisted here. I will read the sloka first. Tatra means among them. Anilaha means Vata in our textbook, Ashtanga Hridayam or any Sanskrit textbook. The terms, sometimes the synonyms of the terms will be used to denote them. Vatam is the standard term, but sometimes what happens is synonym of Vatam will be used. Anila is a synonym of Vatam. So Anilaha means Vatam. Vata is having such and such characters, that is Rupsham, Lekhu, Sitam, Kharam and Sukshma. chalam. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 characteristics are basically there for Vadam. Ruksham, Lekhu, Sitam, Kharam, Sukshma, and Chalam. I will explain the meaning in the next slide. In the same way, Pittam, Sasneham, Tikshnam, Ushnam, Lekhu, Visram, Saram, and Dravam. Snigdhaha, Sito, Guruhu, Manda, Slakshno, Mrilsna, Sthiraha, Kaphaha. So here it is Kabham, here it is Pittam, here it is Vadam. These are the characteristics. We move on to the individual details. Vada, as we have already seen in the case of Koshtam, we explained that Vada is dry. Dryness is there. Even in the case of Vayas also, old age is degenerative. Degeneration itself means dryness. Okay, so Vada is having a characteristic of Ruksham, that means dryness, and it is light. Light means Laku. Among these characteristics, the major characteristic normally is Chalam. Chalam is the mobility factor. Chalam, Vadam is a mobility. We have already described that Agni. For Agni, fluctuation is there, or there is a tendency to move. Okay, so that property is called Chalam. A thing which is under continuous movement, there will be some additional characteristics like continuous movement can create dryness. A thing which is under continuous movement is better to have lightness. Lightness means opposite to heaviness. Weight will be less, or it is light. It's called a Laku. There is another characteristic called, we have already mentioned that in the evening hours, increase of Vada is there. There we have already seen that Vada is more having affinity to Sitam. Sitam means coldness. There is a chance of roughness. This dryness in an increased intensity contributes to roughness. Okay. And a thing which is having a mobility factor or mobility tendency will be more sukshmam. Sukshmam means which can occupy smaller space, is called sukshma. So it can pervade to smaller and smaller cavities. So that property is called sukshma. So from this description, we come to a point that instead of defining Vadam, we didn't define Vadam itself. We didn't give any different definition for Vadam, but we characterize Vadam. These properties you can see in many aspects in human body. We will describe all these properties in another class. Because usually what happens is, these are some technical terms. What is Ruksham, Laku, Sitam? So there are many physiological implications for these terms. For example, dryness itself having many physiological pathological implications. For example, dryness in the skin can be Rukshata, dryness in the mouth, dryness in the eyes, dryness in the joints is called osteoarthritis. So there are many. Dryness in the liquid content is called dehydration. So the property dryness can be related to many aspects in the body, which creates many functions or many manifestations. All of them are related to Vada. So dryness is a term which itself does not convey any meaning, but when it is applied to many aspects of the body, there will be meanings. All those meanings are condensed in a term called dryness. That is the thing which we have to be clear with. Laku means lightness. So when Vata is more present in our body will be more light or lighter. Means weight reduction. If there is a weight reduction, that is Laghu. Okay. If there is a decrease in the size of an organ, that is Laghu. That is the lightness. So the Laghu is a term which can be applied in many aspects in our body. In such a way, all these things, all these gunas for Vadam, Pittam and Kapham, you can apply these terms in different contexts and there will be different phenomenon approaching there. Okay. So Vata is Ruksham. I'm not going into such details in detail here because I have to introduce these gunas here. This is called properties or gunas, guna of dosha. So Ruksham, Laghu, Sitam, Kharam and Sukshmam and Chalam. Chalam can be taken as the normally the main characteristic of Vadam, because Vadam is a thing which helps you in movement. Okay, that is why Vata is predominantly present in lower part of the body. Because lower part of human, as far as human being is concerned, lower part is the part which helps in gross movement. Okay. In Pittam, as we have already mentioned, it supports digestion or it increases Agni, it increases the digestive capacity. And that means Pittam is a factor which brings out digestion or metabolism in the body. Okay. For that, Pittam should have some important characteristics. One thing is Pittam should be sharp enough to cut things. Disintegration, property of disintegration. Metabolism starts with the disintegration. So Pittam, enzymatic activities, all such things, sharpness should be there. It should disintegrate, it should cut things into different fragments. So that is one property of Pittam. And it should be hot also. Hot means Ushnam. Ushnam means digestive process itself is, metabolism itself is a manifestation of Ushnam. It creates Ushnam, it creates energy or something like that. So in that way, Tikshnam and Ukshnam are the properties, sharpness and hotness are the properties dominating Pittam. All other properties are, it is light, Laghu, and there is a peculiar smell for Pittam. That is, you can take it as a bad smell. Bad smell is a peculiarity of Pittam. And as we have already seen, in the case of Koshtam, Pittam is responsible for Mrudu Koshtam. Mrudu Koshtam means free evacuation will be there. Liquidity, more fluid evacuation will be there. So there is a flowing tendency and a liquidity tendency for Pittam. So these characteristics are Sasneham, it is wet. Even though it is Agni, it's like an acid. Acid is having an Agneya property, Agni property. It burns things, but it is liquid. So in that way, digestive enzymes are included under Pitta. It is acidic, it burns things. At the same time, it is liquid also. It is in a liquid form. So it is wet, Tikshnam, that is Sasneham, Tishnam, Ukshnam, Laghu, Visram, Saram and Dravam. Kapham is almost an opposite character of Vadam. If Vadam is Ruksham, Kapham will be Snigdham. Snigdham means oiliness. If Vadam is Laghu, Kapham will be Guru. Guru means heaviness. And Snigdham, Siddham, Guru. Mandam means slow acting. Kapham will be Kapham, as we have already seen, Kapham contributes to growth or accumulation. So accumulation and growth and nourishment will be the properties of Kapham. Growth always happens very slowly. Growth is not a thing which happens abruptly. There will be slow accumulation. Growth is a slow accumulation. The process or the total process will be, if you take a food, the effect of that food will be becoming the part of the nourishment or growth by taking a longer duration. It does not happen very fastly. So mandatva is there. Manda means slow acting. It is smooth, in other words. It is slimy, and it is firm also. Here it is chalam. Chalam means mobile. Here it is firm. So almost all characters of Kapham is opposite to Vata. Pittam is in between. So this is the way in which the doshas are mutually opposite, sometimes mutually contributing also. What happens when Vata functions in the body? Naturally, there will be dryness because Vata contributes to movement. Naturally, there will be dryness. On the other side, Kapha will be oily. You take the case of a joint. If more movement is there, joint will become dry. That is called degeneration. To avoid, to prevent such a dryness, there will be a thing called a synovial fluid that is oily, that is snigdham. So Vata is controlled over by Kapha. In such a way, these, I'm not going to that details in detail, we will discuss it later. In such a way, the characteristics of dosha themselves are mutually contributory and mutually contradictory. They can control by themselves. So there is an understanding between Vadam, Pittam and Kapham, which controls by themselves by means of these characters. For example, Vadam, here it is Sitam, cold. Kapham also is Sitam, but Pitta will be Ushnam. So the Ushna character of Pitta will be controlled, will be manipulated by the Sida properties of Kapham and Vata. So if there is no such a manipulator, such a controller, there is a chance for an increased destructive process of Pitta. Okay, in such a way, you can compare these gunas. There are some opposite gunas. There are some similar gunas. With that opposite gunas, they control each other. With the similar gunas, they support each other. That is the thing regarding the characters of doshas. It is very important. I know that there will be some confusion regarding some questions will be there. If you ask some questions, I will try to answer them also. So these are the gunas of Tridosha. These are the properties of Tridosha. Okay, we'll move on to next. So tatra rupsho lakhu sita khara sushpaschalo anilaha pittam sasneha tikshnoshnam lakhu visram saram dravam snigdha sito gurur mandas lakshno mrusna sthira kapaha. This is these ideas, these properties or these characteristics we can apply to any extent in the context of pathology. While explaining the disease pathology, these gunas will be interpreted as a part of the pathology. While explaining the physiological functions, the same gunas will be there. For example, metabolic function can be explained. Just a simple example I will tell you. In the process of metabolism or digestion, Vata will be there. How? Vata contributes to the mobility. You can say the physical digestion. You can say the chewing process, the deglutition, the movement of bolus and movement of the gastric movements, then gut movements. Everything is controlled by, or it is brought about by Vadam, because Vadam is the motivator. On the other side, the enzymatic changes, the digestive process, the fragmentation of things, the fragmentation and the compartmentalization and the digestion of can call it as a chemical digestion, etc. Those things are those aspects of the digestive process is contributed by Pittam, because Pittam itself is Tikshna Ushna. There is a property to cut down things, and there is a property to digest things to an assimilable form. Okay, Pitta is contributing to make the food to an assimilable form. So there should be Tikshna Ushna gunas. On the other side, digestion happens when digestion is being carried out in the stomach. there is mucus, production of mucus is there. For protecting the inner wall of the stomach, there should be production of mucus there, epithelium, mucus epithelium is there. So such things protects from the body from the activities of Vadam and Pittam. Such protective mechanism always it will be slime, that is oily or sliminess will be there. A slimy coating will be there. It is called a snigdham. Snigdham is a protective slimy coating, or you can call it as a this mucus is a snigdha bhava, you can call it. So there the presence of kapha is there. So without the harmonious functioning of movement, the metabolic changes, the digestive process, and the protective measures, you cannot carry out a proper digestion. So in the same process, Vadam, Pittam, and Kapham are harmoniously bringing out a successful processing. So that is how these things are. The Vadam, Pittam, and Kapham are mutually becoming contributory or mutually controlling and mutually benefiting from one another. So that is the importance of gunas.